Eti right now no dear asema eda paso a ye tu ne sreni abasa no the debtor Central Bank of Ghana Bank of Ghana se say wa inke enu na obi e ka ho asem na ade no akoye je say as usual NPP NDC NPP for kire mu say ka Bank of Ghana abo no enye ka ketwa ena NDC for so kire mu say o e ka be no maka na ye hwe mu kra Bank of Ghana kra wo mfazo ho ene na NPP for so hwe ehene ne ha books no lie mumfa books ni mra na mumbiem na ye nyina ye nhwe se ampa Bank of Ghana aboka anase Bank of Ghana amoka omoka as asem ne pe afi na NDC fo aba out omo se o World Bank of Ghana aboka kra wo mo destabilize economy no e no mo ye ni say ni no mo ka sa wie ye no e na Kojo Oppong Nkrumah say no ese mu tu mfuturo gu nkrofo ani enti Kojo Oppong Nkrumah nya abotre e di breakdown about a car Bank of Ghana abono aba betudwa na in fact minim politicians when they are the opposition obu kasama ne convince nipa in fact me personally I'm convinced by Kojo Oppong Nkrumah explanation enti yengongo tie Kojo Oppong Nkrumah minim se wonso obe convinced by the explanation na yentie Kojo Oppong Nkrumah
with this report because I mean the conversation and the narrative around it and it's there is some kind of subtle admission loss course but there are results to show for the loss and really I didn't know was a Ghana for you worried
loss near
what officially I have not seen the report but at least I may can't hear a tape from press conference now 15 billion
good. So you see, what you are doing is that you are repeating the NDC political party narrative. Say, loss are cost,
yes,
15 billion.
Yes,
but there's some good to show for
yes.
it. And in fact, it's not just you. Ome recruiting a lot of, I'm not saying they have recruited. Ome recruiting a lot of people. You know, some pretending some are neutral, some pretending some are analysts near there to be repeating the same line. In fact, when they made the content creators, it wasn't about no problem. We are crampon charge home with that one. But they feel the need to explain. The reason for which 15 billion, 15 billion is because that is a propaganda they want to put out. But the truth, and that's why we did the press conference and draw, was that when you download the accounts and you go into it, the loss is nothing less than 35 billion Ghana cedis. And so 35 ni betumi actually the entire you use the expression nothing less than 35. Uhwe mankasa loss near 44 billion Ghana cedis.
And no ewo piece I've gotten the if it will be a forward the soft copy now Mrs. I don't know say where 136 pages
136 pages. That is the one we downloaded from the Bank of Ghana website.
Okay.
So it will be called down say will be withdrawn now so the full account we have the first one so we can always come back to it. Now let me take you to page 5 of the accounts.
Okay.
So permit me on my hard copy was it?
Yes.
Page 5.
Okay.
I want to be who their friend headline loss. It's was say oh also must headline loss no was say. And we are
into headline
loss. First of all there's the bank and then there's the group. Yes. So when said the bank is made up of the bank and some subsidiaries.
Sure,
okay.
Sure.
Into group on the side the headline loss near.
And that is from this side, right? Okay. In the group side no headline loss for 2025 a 15.287.911 billion.
Afikwasi, read the next line.
The next line is transfer to General Reserve Fund. Transfer to General Reserve Fund. And also 2025 14.982.578 billion.
Conform.
Leaving a balance to be carried forward on retained earnings of 647.544 million for 2025.
Okay. I feel so crowd soft copy now. Let me take you to page page 16 of the Central Bank.
Okay. Page 16.
My highlight it. Top line, first line.
Okay.
And the headline
Yeah, headline loss. Loss for the year.
Good.
2025. 15.300.513 billion Ghana cedis.
And where for is it the bank or the group?
Where for the group.
Okay.
And for the bank, and also 15.630.122 billion.
Nti enona NDC for the year propaganda say that is the loss. But same page 16.
Yes.
We say my highlighted two other figures.
And there were other comprehensive income for the year net of tax.
Good, because on accounts, you were operating account, which shows the normal Ejuma Bank of Ghana. Any the other comprehensive income account, other nema omuya any part of omu core activities. Into what has happened is omu core Ejuma nkasa omuye no.
Yes.
Omu boka 15.6 billion Ghana cedis. What they are hiding from you, Nise, uko sa page 16 we say so the other comprehensive income no. Ehono mu make loss. Pacho loss na ohoni ahe.
And also loss no for the group.
Yeah.
For the group here, 19.888.779 billion Ghana cedis. That's for the group. For the bank, 19.322.253 billion Ghana cedis.
And this who the actual loss of the central bank for the bank 15.6 plus 19.3 and we pay 34.9 billion Ghana cedis. But on say because omoye propaganda omama bank mpenyi fo na nkasa mambe kano krenintino one hwe ya nko kan kra hu they are what any press conference NDC party na be say ombo ka 15 billion but the 19 na bete other comprehensive income nimu to 15 plus 19 and I make actually say nothing less than 34.9 billion cedis. That's the loss. Why is there a difference in this figure? Because they are doing politics with it. Senkamuma Bank of Ghana nankasa Tony Bo echo through the process ebe presente ya. I am not sure said the governor will come and say 15.6. He will say 34.9. But because of more politicizing, no more person too futrogun for anything, and I'm number point say 15.6. We'll come into the details. Now, sa 34.9 we ankasan obi asemwo page 7.
Okay, in the page 7,
good. That is the beginning of the accounts.
Yes, report of the directors to the Minister for Finance.
Good. Ehona omuchro ejuman kasa Ghana Constitution, any Bank of Ghana Act as amended, yes. Which is primarily to maintain price stability. Now you susu dia bia e measure her nti Bank of Ghana no ejuma e dia hye ne nsa no ni sika eso no so mfanya na ni nsuo eso no dware ana economics mun your no policy solvency. Policy mandate na e dia ma no, are you solvent enough to fulfill it, i.e. ubetumi aye wa bra wankasa o generate revenues na wo de emiti ana say just a bank na nkasa no aban ebre ni sika foforo na okobo besi ana oprenti sika foforo ansa na wetumi de aye. It's a very critical test because central bank no a lender of last resort no, so a policy insolvent then it just asmaba in the Obekaya 2022 abra Bank of Ghana making loss for the first time. Madam for power to forcing. Or say the Bank of Ghana is near policy insolvency. Na
that's 60 billion loss.
Yes. Na net equity na ko negative. And until governor na pound in 21 days. Na Bank of Ghana na be crime scene. So Bekaya. Okay, yes. That is because this policy solvency question is a very critical test. Now policy solvency ni or calculation idea. Uber calculate all the revenues was a bank ninya from normal activities. Now what the cost of policy mandate implementation? Policy mandate no maintaining price stability. You bet me I can simple language say kutia inflation.
Yes.
Into the cost of fighting inflation. Ube TFE all revenues. Into table ne wohono.
Yes.
Where a Bank of Ghana for accounts.
Yes.
Table ne wohono.
Yes.
Ube line by line. Or my listed revenues ni na. Pacho so bet me abu boss watch weti for
policy solvency estimation, the bank. First line here, interest income calculated using the effective interest method. Second line,
and yes, a bank yes. For example, overnight lending to commercial banks and other on lending that the central bank would do. Yes. Interest income free. No.
Okay. Net income from other financial instrument at FVPL.
And put all the 10 cars aside. Yes. But Nina Niema bank no as part of a normal ejuma omoya in the
fees and commission income, yes. Other operating income, net gain from the sale of refined gold.
Pause. I want a problem the one.
A net gain, no?
Yes, from the sale of refined
gold.
And when come ejuma Inti unza account ni crowd no, you 2025 no 2024.
Yes.
Or 2024
2024 under net gain zero, nothing.
Yes, zero.
Yeah.
Because 2024 the Bank of Ghana didn't need to sell gold to raise money. And come ejuma when come tradition asset sale and come ejuma. If you the other revenue items,
income from operations.
Okay.
Cost of open market operations.
Who be do income from operations now? Let's say total income in 22 billion.
22.231.377.
No na wo beti cost of policy mandate implementation, open market operations.
Yes.
Open market operation cost is
16.737 billion.
2022 ni mo ebeka 5.5. And no more case o chese o me policy solvent. Problem in here. But me try say no correct.
Adentia.
Because in the 22 no, omo de 9.6 biya be hwa from the sale
of refined gold.
Thank you. I part of omajuma. Yemfa nkan policy solvency calculation. Mami try to say Asempa FM edena moton
yeton airtime
good
edema.
Inti yese moton airtime. Na mun raise revenue bi afane se be 1 million cedis. Na mun tuatua mo ho ka nyina. Afi enimu no enema amoye ne ade nyina e kana aba beda ha se ana se expenditure mo no mo expenditure 1.2 million. Nti mo target 1 million no krampo no mum miti.
Yes.
I be adwuma no pa obi mo asesa computer ni other assets e wo company ha se na aton no be 300,000. Nti say mo revenue here 1.3. Nti mo tifi mo cost 1.2 no ma say profit.
Yes.
But the problem is that assets in accounting, more assets are more there. It's not part of your stock in trade, and you're part of more normal activities. And no more there about beka ho sen command ton since say utisa gold assets no ma ton
yes.
The actual revenue from income from operations about 12 billion.
Yeah, 12 billion.
The 12 billion what is 16 more 4 billion.
Eti Kojo Oppong Nkrumah explanation na onsa ekaye no na otiremu se eka no mpo a Bank of Ghana pese omo me ehu ne se eye 15 billion no uti Kojo Oppong Nkrumah nka o chese enye 50 billion enye 50 billion Ghana cedis Ghana buru sa 15 billion da ho ena 19 billion so wo ho eti wo ka se sikari boma automatically no we are talking about 34.9 billion almost 35 billion wo ka ena nkrofo na bo e de ato Ghana ho within just 1 year no ena ye ka ne sa nkrofo no eye no se ye kata so amuamu aso ena Kojo Oppong Nkrumah se de bi asem no de abasa no ye be hwiti na no echi no ena ye busa Kojo Oppong Nkrumah se Kojo sa asemi a wo ken ampa eka no aba nanso ndisi fo no kiremu se omo de aye stabilization amen na economy no a stabilize a baby a wo be fa bia ne mabo no aye stabilize wo to ade na wonim so o kina be ko no na wo da so eto ne sa dollar yi nso so a ye nya no fofofo ene banks na de dollar etata ni pasa egu kwedi petitiru bia omo nim banki mu omo nyina ba be bo aban na ba so say e do say Bank of Ghana boka but yenya impact wo ka wo mo aba no so na no na Kojo Nkrumah busa say na expert na wo ka na bi ni hwan e na obi ka tell ne say e bi ni Joe Jackson Kojo Oppong Nkrumah ti Joe Jackson dia ni koko apa you know say hwan sen Joe Jackson one na friend expert there be one do ye NDC anes o one expert ba ku say if is here wo Joe Jackson one can asem man in favor NPP for that. Can be asem bi obeke bi favor NDC. Eti yenko ni yenko hey ansema Kojo Oppong Nkrumah e ka che Joe Jackson ɛne nkrɔfo a wɔn adwene yi wɔn sɛ Ghana Bank of Ghana abɔ no ɛmfasoɔ wɔ so because yɛhu stabilization ɛwɔ yɛ economy no mu yɛnkɔ ne yɛnkɔ tie Kojo Oppong Nkrumah on that note.
The stories of some respected voices about finance, economy, anyway. I've read one from Joe Jackson, for example, of Dayless Finance. He also makes the same point. The cost of stability.
When have you heard Joe Jackson say anything against the NDC government or in favor of the MPP?
Joe Jackson.
Oh, I don't want to go too much into it. He's my friend. I don't want to go too much. When have you heard him? Would they pull one time that he has said something against the government? Once. You won't find one. Every time his opinion is on the side of the NDC and against the MPP. I mean, I don't want to go too much into it. But I want to come into this argument. Say,
yes. A cost for stability I enjoy.
Obi, no correct.
Okay.
O much room say kana o ma bono. Nema mienu ne kofa aka ne bae. Se baako no mo fight inflation. Nti eno nko ane cost is 16.7 billion cedis. And the cost of open market operations.
Open market operations, yeah.
And say second, na omo support dollar no. Into cost near 9 billion cedis. Yentu ebuni enkom. First of all, Mekai will say, I know I interviews me
yes.
in 2025.
Yes.
The first interview I know here was about market Asempa intervention at central bank near year. So percent okipu dollar na 10.
Yes.
And on me breaking them because they were pumping. Now formula no they pumping. You be in a cabebe fee. Midway through the year, me catch was in fact first year kind no. Omu deny, president deny, or share bishops who deny, governor Nankasa deny. It was when we kept insisting. Then the IMF looked into it and said, "Charlie, Adena Moye, no, it's obvious. A market intervention. No, come say any intervention.
Intermediation.
Thank you. You see, who can be beer? They will deny it. Intermediation. Commercial banks, central bank. They only intervene when the intermediation is not solving the problem. Say central bank Nankasa say, oh yeah, intermediation. No problem. What they are to need info from? Me dem catch me say umami you. Ne kana so wada. Say be bosses.
Yes.
Until we kept saying say chale dey amoye ne intervention. Na dey amoye no ebe wie no dey kind be fe. Oh aban papa ba mo pompe dollars and to me and save the city. No problem. No problem at all. At the time na ye kasa ne ka kire o say loss are na fi ase ba because of the structure no mo use no. As exposed by the IMF when they went into it, it was about 2.5 billion cedis. That's about $240 million at the time. Okay, May the Bank of Ghana accounts by may the chair one signature and also Dr. Siama one signature and
sure.
And your car say mumma yensi abotre yensi nkonwani yenye investigation. Yenhwe baby a problem ni feedback so that we can correct it. Me cry me sign the motion LED minority the motion called parliament obekaya. What did the majority do to that motion?
It was thrown out.
They threw away the motion. Say Bibianco Bonnet, they don't want to see anything. They've made up their mind. They don't want to see the facts. Dollar bafom, that's the important thing. And we told them, Sadia Muyan, Eddie Kanebeba. Nami, we are mature why a card, everybody should be concerned about it. At the time, I'm catching and saying out, nothing important. In fact, 2 days before Bank of Ghana Abebano, Gold Board by announcement, so more make you profit 900 million. Bank of Ghana buy or say, sa transaction now on the Gold Board here, no. On Waboka 9 billion cedis.
Ghana cedis.
But at the time, he raised issue, no, 2.5. Senka yesi nkonywat na hohwe ye correct ya. Enke nu 9 billion. But who can be bia? They will deny it. They will insult you. And now I say, me will say, oh, moment, and about quite statement say, yeah, ignorant. No problem. And a kana 2.5 yanshe no. Sisa be 9 billion. Na bakusu will make you profit 900 million. Bakusu will make you loss 9 billion. Netting off na the value of the gold transactions no. Fenotun chain. Before they assumed power, that's our gold purchase program no. I've told you this on authority. Forget this idea no.
Since inception.
Forget this idea. 2024 account brew. There was nowhere in that account that it was stated there was a loss. That governor no call Public Accounts Committee, or Mubisa and say, who said there's a loss? You could account no show us, or say just a bank. There was no loss. They have published accounts under the signature of the governor and the auditors, in which there are no losses. Now, for politicization and political equation, they want to claim there was a loss in the past.
But you are saying, sir, the central bank, in response to an RTI request,
yes,
can peddle falsehood?
I believe that it was untrue. Because it is not in the audited accounts. Do you know what audited accounts mean?
Sure.
Do you know the implication when auditors and directors sign an account? Said this is a true and fair view of what has happened. Now, what signing accounts in which there are no losses? Now we are politics into one answer ITI letter. I said that letter is of no consequence. Respectfully, it's of no consequence in comparison with the audited accounts, which you gazette and lay before Parliament. The audited accounts that you gazetted and laid before Parliament didn't speak of any losses. Then they didn't loss number and say what changes structure no. So now everybody has to go to the gold board. The gold board has to go to another entity. Until by the time I didn't like you beton do Bank of Ghana no more boka. And then them more admit say more boka 9 billion Ghana, but only 9 billion.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Unim sika ekoji wo IMF
3 billion, but no dollars. So we 9 billion we cedis,
yes. Now begin to wrap your mind around it. Begin to wrap your mind around it. 9 billion Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, at the time you started, it was just about 2.5 billion Ghana cedis. And it will be a catch-all, so it was the cost of stability. And the cost of stability, and the cost of the policy decision they took to change the structure.
Enti Kojo Oppong Nkrumah and finally what's saying kase what break it down de eniema atoto na kwemu ama ye hunu se ampeni ampa ka Bank of Ghana abono ye kabia enkemfaso ni so se Bank of Ghana bebo nanso so wo mabo awi a wo mo sa apese wo mo ye krokro de John ehun se me wo honom na no kremu ni me personally me ni Kojo Oppong Nkrumah ye adwuma aya adwen wo kwan bi so wonim say last 2025 no na World Bank ba be kan say Bank of Ghana boka bi dia fa gold board o ayase amma say ye kase etwetwere Bank of Ghana bo ye boss one NPP NDC ba out ebe Robinson sema Bank of World Bank kura be kan ye no ene mu bi kura ka say World Bank dia won kan sem wa bra onim nia o kan ampani ampa ni nua ne ampa afei na eka no aba se NDC fo age atum se eka no dia aba Nemum, the Omo can say ya boka cry yenya so mfaso. Now koka, Omo say, and yet a Bank of Ghana no, and yet profit making entity. But the next question is, na Bank of Ghana no, a loss making entity ana. Yet Hana 2022 Bank of Ghana boka 60 billion. Wo ato forcing? We are finance minister ne. What the Baba too just say Bank of Ghana no credit friend say the papa or that woman say CEO say governor no. What ye incompetent 21 days say yen sakeno. Esa say what the Bank of Ghana na policy insolvency. Say what Bank of Ghana partner who ase ohunu na ase mu. Enne wo kro ya bedi ade na. We did feel a year came up 34.9 billion, equivalent to 35 billion. Momo the other day, more bekache say more the year stabilization and no na boa ama economy no aye solid. Na mama musa wo ka say Bank of Ghana e ka no mo born 60 billion no. Wo mo de enye say wo mo de ye bibi. Wo ma enye reason fa amana. Politicians will always continue to fool us. Say ya ma ye hunu mene so a. Enti NDC ni NPP no look at daya omu nyina omu kwanya omu be twa adwuma gu so omu de adwuma be di sesi a enti NDC na start ye o na ekọ nanimu a na ebe hunu enti according to me analysis amahwe ne de metie no de Bank of Ghana ye bibia ani kwan se nko ye se ekọ so se ya e the problem bebre aha ye Infoeye o number 1 super duper skin lakuta and I me the breakdown amount makrao